every week. This week is no different. Matter of fact, we didn't do it last week, so I guess I'm wrong. But we get a chance to do it again this week. We got the one and only Dr. Deborah Stroman.
From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
D-Stro.
What's
going on, Dr.
Good
Stroman?
morning. We
Good
missed
morning.
you.
I missed you all. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful. I stayed up watching the first round last night, and I figured you all would be all over that. Rightfully so. It is the big news. But I want to turn your attention to the world's most popular sport, which is...
Football?
Yeah,
That's
called
right,
football. Yeah.
That's right, football. I'm fired up about it. I think you all, it has been exposed now that I fall in love with Costa Rica.
Yes.
And I make the trip there quite a bit. And now I am into Costa Rica football, who actually tied Brazil. For those who are following Copa America, that is a major, major tournament. And it expanded this year with 6 teams from North America are joining the usual 10 teams from South America. And I was actually in Costa Rica watching the game when they tied Brazil. You would have thought that they won the World Cup.
Wow.
As we know, Brazil is the powerhouse. I think they're ranked number 5 in the world right now. So for Costa Rica to tie them, that was very impressive. They play, Costa plays Colombia tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. The United States actually plays tonight. They're in, Costa's in Group D, the United States is in Group C. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, and this is not a new topic for us, I want to talk about hot weather in outdoor sports. This is really, really scary again, right? We know the Men's World Cup is coming to our country and also Canada and Mexico 2 summers from now. And a lot of people are saying that the heat is one of the ways in which this could not be a good thing. Out of the 11 United States cities set to host the tournament in June and July of 2026, 10 of them have experienced temperatures over 90 degrees this past week, and some have topped 100 degrees.
Wow.
This is scary. Players and coaches are scared. They're already quoting some of the Copa America players. One of the stars said that he felt dizzy. Another star player, and these are amazing athletes. I mean, to run up and down the field nonstop, talking about blood pressure dropping. They're trying to find ways to address this issue. Now, it's not new, and it's certainly not new to our country. It's been researched before, but it's become more of an acute issue since FIFA awarded this World Cup to the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And they're trying to figure out what to do. And I've called it profits versus people. We've got some stadiums that do have, the retractable, but still you've got a lot of other issues, including us, as in the millions of fans who are going to travel to attend these games.
Right.
Regardless if they're in, and most of these stadiums that have the retractable and everything, we know they're NFL stadiums, right? Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and LA. So the big talk is, what time do we kick off? When do we start? So here's the challenge. Afternoon games are better for television audiences in the priority market, which is Europe. The coolest summer climates for the United States are on the West Coast. But the difference for Europe is 9 hours. And so would FIFA really start a World Cup game at noon or 1 o'clock on a weekday? FIFA's done that in the past. We also know that indoor stadiums are better for afternoon matches. But indoor stadiums are in some of the hottest host cities where somebody just walking to the stadium, hanging around outside the stadium could be uncomfortable or even dangerous for fans. So, again, I'll pause there, but this is a major topic. Hot weather, sports, and making money.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see trying to take that into account because sitting in the stands or any open stadium anywhere at 100 plus or close to 100-degree temperatures, I just don't see how that's a recipe for success. No matter how you do it, it's always going to be dangerous. It's going to be hot. It's going to be. It's just a bad idea just to sit there in one place. There's no shade. There's no movement. There's no breathe. It's just a bad idea all around. It's hard to stay completely hydrated, and it's hard to keep that many people cool. A few people that body temperatures can regulate other things, but 1 out of 100, they just won't be able to handle the temperatures, and they won't know until it's too late.
And you just reminded me of sitting in the stadium, and you usually sit in the stadium with a beverage, mixing alcohol and heat.
And that's even worse. That adds to the problem there.
There's a false assumption, a narrative that will help you cool off, which hopefully we've all dispelled that by now, but who knows?
Going to get a ice cold beer.
Right. That's exactly
while
what
your body's
say.
On fire, right? So, some additional thoughts. There was a World Cup winning midfielder, Sam Mewis. He's written about, female, Sam Mewis. She's written about her performance has been impacted by extreme heat, and we know the dangers of wildfire smoke. Right? The U.S. Open tennis, they amended their rules to partially shut the stadium roof in order to shade some of the players during the heat wave. And we've talked about American football players. They are the most vulnerable to heat illness. A 2013 study found the exertional heat illness rate in high school football was 11 times that of all other sports combined. And we know the debate around, we talked about this, the natural grass versus artificial grass. Cheaper to do artificial grass, but synthetic turf can get up to 60 Fahrenheit degrees hotter than natural grass.
So it's interesting you say this because I had this conversation. I was outside at an event last week, and it was around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said to myself, so let me get this right. So a few years ago, I used to put pads on and practice twice a day in this kind of heat. And it was hot, but not like these days. It's crazy. I can imagine. I know they ain't going 2 days with pads on. Came back.
No,
they can't be.
They don't.
I mean,
the schedules are shift. They shift the schedules. Where they practice. You remember Cutkill Stollers? They practice early. In the morning.
And
then they walk through late.
And that's a sidebar. I think about that because that was crazy. I said, well. They can kill us, they could in that kind of heat.
They could.
So here's a question. All of us, we're the same age group. Do we recall any of our colleagues or peers at the time suffering from heat exhaustion or anybody dying?
No,
exhaustion, yes.
Yeah, exhaustion. I seen a guy we thought had passed, but they brought him back. And prior to that, they was giving a bunch of salt pills. Came back.
Yeah, I remember.
That's right.
Because he was catching cramps.
I still want.
Are you kidding me?
I still want to know
whose idea was that?
I want to know which physician
said about the salt.
Said the devil. Just because they got that stuff hanging on the wall, sometimes don't mean that. I'm just trying to tell you that don't mean they always have your best interest at heart.
Right.
Well, maybe they. I'm saying they did. Of course you do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know about it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know.
Honestly, growing up. I was told the doctor knows everything you need to know, blah, blah. I don't believe that now. I need to look at it for myself.
All I know is this heat feels different. I'm one, I do events outside all the time, and I can be in the heat. But this past weekend, I was in the heat for 12 hours just sitting, so not moving.
Oh,
and I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yes.
And just sitting, and then by Sunday morning, I could not move. It was pure exhaustion and dehydration and just sick. So
I'm glad you brought that up, Pam. I was going to ask you, one who is coordinating and directing festivals, and certainly I'm sure not when you're sitting and relaxing, but if you're walking around, you notice what's happening. People are dropping. People are saying, find everybody's bundled up under a tree and all of that. And then when you add the movement to it, it's just so dangerous. And we also know certain medications, including common ones used to treat depression and ADHD, can make players especially prone to heat illness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know about, depression and how that is affecting many, many Americans. I'm reminded of my thesis professor at UNC Chapel Hill, who's now retired, Dr. Fred Mueller. He actually started the National Center for Catastrophic Sport Injury Research at UNC Chapel Hill. And they, although their numbers are often lower than reality because they report deaths related to sport injury. And not everybody's reporting all the football deaths to the center or can make a clear link to heat in terms of autopsies. But between 2018 and 2022, we had nearly a dozen football players die of heat stroke in the United States. Yeah, nearly a dozen. I'm reminded of my friend Marty McNair. You all might remember his story of his tragedy with his son, Jordan McNair, who died at University of Maryland, offensive lineman, in 2018. After I think it was his 7th sprint football practice, he started cramping up. About an hour later, he started foaming at the mouth. And 30 minutes after that, he was loaded into an ambulance and he died 2 weeks later. And I encourage people to visit the Jordan McNair Foundation, thejordanmcnairfoundation.org. So Marty is just on a crusade to help parents understand what happens with this heat, with the dangers of heat. Rightfully so. I think he has the sense that you just can't trust these athletic administrators, these folks to get it right. Many of them do, most of them do, but you can't trust. You have to take responsibility for your child, your loved one, and make sure you know what your son or daughter should be doing to combat the heat system.
Right.
I recommend a buddy system for anybody out there working out in this heat. I strongly recommend a smart watch where you can look at your heart rate, you can time your workouts, you can look at your intensity level. You got to watch the weather before you start. Definitely look at the humidity levels, and of course, water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in an industry where that is critical. That we learn how to hydrate, to keep people hydrated, keep people in a position where they protect themselves during this type of heat. There's lots of ways to do it, but nutrition and hydration and intake is job number one. Your nutrition has a lot to do with it. Your medication has lots to do with it, and how you hydrate has a lot to do with it. Don't start guzzling a bottle of water before you leave for your workout at 8 and think you're hydrated. You are not. You are not hydrated. I'm telling you now, you are not hydrated.
Exactly. Yeah, so let's all pay attention. You don't have to be a world-class athlete to be concerned about this. In fact, we're trying to flip it here and say, if you are just the casual, recreational person who likes to go outside and enjoy the outdoors and get a little workout in, even if it's just a slow-paced walk, please be reminded of these temperatures, the conditions. And if you can buddy up with someone, please do so.
Wow.
It makes your workout a bit more enjoyable as well.
All right,
that's good.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Go ahead.
No, just the last thing. I'm excited about the ACC. We've got 4 players in the first round.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, Bub Carrington from Pitt, Jared from Duke, Kaishan George from Miami, and Brian Dunn snuck in there from Virginia.
I'm not saying she's not gonna hang on the phone before she mentioned that one. I know that's right.
What about your 76ers? How about that, huh? Your 76ers are good.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'll tell you, next year's NBA, I'm so looking forward to this. It's going to be a great year. I'm thinking about all those West Coast teams who thought that they were going to be dominating or make it to the conference finals, and they didn't. And definitely I want somebody to knock off Boston, but that's another conversation.
Yes. That's another conversation.
All right, D.
Doc Stroman came back competitive, didn't she?
She
Yes.
did. That Costa Rica
She came back refreshed.
got a mind right.
Came
Okay.
back refreshed.
All right, Dr. Stroman.
All right,
Thank
Dr.
you
Stroman.
so much.
Thank you.